You're listening to the Running Around Charlotte podcast presented by the Novant Health Charlotte Marathon. Find out more or register at runcharlotte.com. Now, here are your hosts for the Running Around Charlotte podcast, Tim Rhodes and DC Lucchese. Welcome back to the Running Around Charlotte podcast. We're coming to you, well, not live, but we're recording it live here at the Novant Health Charlotte Marathon Expo presented by our friends at Fleet Feet. Man, y'all are going to absolutely go, what? When I tell you this story. I've got Mark Feldpausch with me here, and this guy and his daughter are attempting to run every street in Charlotte. I'll let that settle in. Mark, welcome to the Running Around Charlotte podcast, man.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Yeah, man, I'm thrilled to have you here. For starters, let's just get this out of the way.
Yeah.
You're running the marathon with us tomorrow morning.
I am. Yep.
Great. Now, have you already covered these streets, or will some of these be repeats?
I have already covered them, and I ran it in 2021.
Oh, so there you go. All right.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
So this is a repeat for you.
That's right. Yeah.
So like, all right, there you go.
None of this counts.
None of this counts. I love it. All right. Well, let's get. How in the world did you get this idea? Where in the world did this start? And let's just tee it up with that.
Beginning.
Yeah, man. Let's go.
All right. Well, somewhere along the way, I don't remember exactly when, but Ricky Gates. Do you know the ultra runner Ricky
Yep.
Gates? Yep. Well, he did every single street San Francisco, I don't know when, 2019, something like that.
Yeah, that feels about right.
And
yeah.
I saw a video, and of course, this is his whole life, so he did it in 45 days. Insane. All those hills and all that. Well,
Yeah, that's a lot.
I found it fascinating.
Yeah.
Fast forward a little bit, pandemic happens. What do? Right? I can still run, right?
Yeah.
I'm washing my groceries and I'm masking and all that, but I can still run. So
Yeah.
I thought, you know, and I live in Uptown. I thought I'll go out my front door and I'm going to zigzag down these streets and then I'm going to come back up and then see what that looks like. And then tomorrow I'll do the ones next to it. And what does that look like? And I think maybe the third day of doing that, I post on social and I tag Run Charlotte Run. And then there's a comment that says, this looks like the start of every single street Charlotte. And that was like waving a flag in front of a bull, right? I'm like
maybe it is.
Maybe this could be, right? And that was the start of it. And so since April 2020, I've been working on this project. It started as can I do this, and turned into an obsession.
And now, and we talked before we hit record on the cameras here, you're about 55% done, you said.
That's right. Yeah.
Right. Now, I got it. So how many streets are there, or how many miles of streets are there? And, let's just figure that part out.
Yeah. It's about 13,500 streets in Charlotte.
Oh, my God. And
it's massive.
And as we know, some of them are long, some of them are short, but
That's right.
13,500 streets.
Yes.
And do you have any idea how many miles that is?
I don't.
But you will soon. At some point, you will know.
I will know.
So, there you go. Well, let's just math it out. With 55% done, does that mean 55% of the streets?
Streets. Yeah,
wow.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. And there's a lot of details. I had no idea when I started.
Yeah.
Right. But what counts as a street? Right. Like
that's a fair question.
Yeah. I mean, Independence, when it's divided, that's not a street, because who can run on Independence Boulevard?
that was going to be one of my questions. Like, is there anything that's off limits, like a service road or Independence Boulevard?
Yeah.
I would think,
Yeah, those, like a highway is not considered a street, right? Private neighborhoods that are gated, those don't count, right? But everything else, a service road, I can run that, and I'm running some 2-lane roads, and so those are all streets. And then the other thing is logistically, most of them you're running more than once. And the reason why I say that is, think about a cul-de-sac. You're going in, you got to come back out, right?
Well, that's how that works. I'm not in logistics, but I'm going with yes.
That's right. Yeah. So a lot of them I'm running more than once just to get it done.
Yeah. Well, and then so if it's 13,000 something streets, you've already run 6,000 plus, closing on 7,000 streets.
About 7,000 streets in Charlotte. Yeah.
That is now. are you doing this like for instance, a section hiker would do with the AT, where it's like, okay, now I've got to drive out to point A and do a thing and come back, or how does that work?
Yeah, it started off where it's like everything I was doing out my front door, and then, after a while, I'm running a mile just to get to the start,
Yeah, makes for some long days, yeah.
Yeah, and so it's like, okay. And then I started biking, like on a bike somewhere, right? And then finally I'm like, all right, I got to drive. And that's when I really started to realize how big. Because, city of Charlotte proper, Ballantyne is city of Charlotte proper.
And it is not close from uptown.
That's right. And
yes,
so I'm driving 15, 20 minutes, find a place to park, and then you run in a route so that you start and end your car and all that sort of stuff. So there's a lot of planning that goes into it. Once I started, I used to do it like weeknights, weekends, all this sort of stuff. And then after a while, it's like, okay, I can't do this on a weeknight, like leave work and drive somewhere and run and come back. And it's like, there's not enough. It doesn't work, So I hit the point where it's like, okay, this is a weekend only activity.
Oh, okay. Well, that's going to seriously curtail your ability to complete this in the next 45 days. So, oh my gosh. So, do you, when you leave the house, do you already have a route planned? Do you just like, hey, I'm going with God today and seeing what happens?
Oh, yeah. In order to not miss streets, I've got to plan a route.
Right on.
And that, too, is a whole journey. Like, I started off, uptown, it's a grid. Like, I just do it in my head, As soon as you start leaving uptown, then streets start doing weird things. And you're like, okay, what? Did I do that? Did I not do that? And so then I started to print a map, and I would draw on the map, and I'd unfold it, and I'm running around trying, where am I now?
Oh my gosh.
And then I found an app that did turn by turn, kind of worked, and then ultimately I got to Garmin. You get the higher level Garmins, you can build a route in Garmin.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, right on, yeah.
And so I've got my What Have I Done map, and I've got Garmin side by side on two different screens, and I'm having to lay out a route. And try to lay out a route and, start and finish, where do I park, and all this sort of stuff plays into it. It's crazy the amount of work that goes into this, right?
Oh, my God. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, oh, my gosh, no way. I'm way too seat of the pants to ever do this. So I'm wowed already. But on average, how many miles are you covering on one of these things here?
Yeah. When I'm not doing marathon training, I'm doing 7 to 8 miles at a go.
Okay.
Which about
so you're covering a little bit of distance.
Yeah. And so, and what's interesting is, depending on the kind of area you were in, that could be 10 streets or it could be 30 streets. It all depends on
fair point.
How many cul-de-sacs there are, and does the street go on forever, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I think about some of those neighborhoods where you go out toward Matthews and Waxhaw and Weddington, where you're like, there's one entrance and there are a billion miles back up in there. You're like, oh my gosh, wow, I didn't know.
Exactly.
Or you could be running back in there on several sessions.
Yes.
And you're like, oh boy.
Yeah. And even where to park, it's like, you can park on any street, but sometimes it's like, do I want to park there? Do other people park there? Like, if I find a school, perfect. I can park at that school, right? And sometimes I'll use the same school 4 times because I'm hitting different areas from that one spot, But there's been places where, not everything is Myers Park, right? So there have been places where it's like, I'm going to park at that church, and then I pull into the church parking lot, and the church van is behind chain link.
I know exactly where you're talking about, actually. I literally know exactly the street you were talking about. You're like, I know where that is.
Do I want to leave my car right there? Maybe. No. I don't know. So that comes into it too.
That does come into it too. Well, that and depending on you're doing it on the weekends.
Yep.
Right, and it's like maybe there's not the same amount of traffic, or maybe there's more.
Right.
I mean, not every street. Admittedly, not every street is conducive to walking or running.
Absolutely, yeah. I've got those streets, like the mornings are great because of the less traffic. But, I've been on those 2-laners where it's a ditch and a ditch, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I'm running, and I'm like, okay, if a car comes, I'm hopping in the ditch.
Yep. You're like, here we go.
That's it, and some of the runs suck. right?
Well,
this is not a great place,
Yeah. Yeah.
But what, I don't know, the map and the desire to fill it in, that's what keeps me going, right? And it's the interesting thing, like when I started running, it's like I'd put a race on the calendar, that'd be the thing to keep you going, right?
Sure, yeah.
And then after a while, it's like I've done the major distances. And so I'd still do that, but when I moved to Charlotte, because we moved here in 2019, it's like, okay, what's going to get me going here? What's going to get me going here? And I didn't know this was going to be it. But after a while, it's like, no, this is the thing where, because we're all humans, like there's days where you're like, I don't really want to do this, And you need that little poke, right?
Yeah.
Well, the map is that little poke. It's like, I'll get that done.
One more.
Yeah.
One more, yeah. Now, when was the tipping point where you were like, I think I am going to have to keep doing this? It couldn't have been after 3 runs and a prompt on social media. That's like, no, hell no, I'm just trying to figure out a couple of things to do from the house. And you're like,
yeah. Once I did like inside the 277 loop, and I got that done.
How many streets is that? I know that's been a minute since you've done that. But
yeah, that was
a few.
That was a few.
Yeah.
Maybe 500, I'm going to say.
Oh,
Just
my
off top
goodness.
Of my head,
Yeah, okay, right on, yeah.
And just the look of that on the map, and I thought, I should probably keep doing this. And I just kept going. I am always questioning if I'm going to finish.
I have high confidence. You feel like not a quitter. I mean, full disclosure, literally we just met. I'm like, oh my God, this is absolutely fascinating and full-time bonkers. I'm all into it, but would never take this challenge on because it seems like it's going to take way too long. Even at 45 days, I'd be like, I don't know if I can keep doing that. But so you decided after roughly 500 miles or roughly 500 streets, this sounds like a good plan.
Yeah.
And how long did that take you?
That was month and a half, something like that.
Oh, my gosh.
Wasn't that long.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it wasn't
okay.
that long.
Yeah, so you kind of ripped right through that.
Yeah.
And now here you are, years later.
Yeah.
And full disclosure, one of your daughters is sitting over here, and I saw her making fun of you doing your hand talking to earlier just so she thinks she didn't get away with it. I have kids too. I know what's up. I'm watching you. So what did they say, and we can freaking check them right now. What did they say when you're like, I think I'm going to do this thing? They're like, all right.
Yeah, mostly it was a whatever, Dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do you.
Yes.
I don't know why you do this running thing that you do. That's most of it. And as long as it didn't mess with them, there was no big deal, right?
So it really was a you do you, man.
Yeah, it really was. Yeah.
I mean, well, do you guys ever worry about him when he disappears? You're like, I'm going to go run some service road off 85. I'm like, that sounds like a not awesome plan? Okay, so you do worry. You at least worry. No? Okay. Why? It's a tough crowd. Well, yeah, after closing in on 6 years, I guess you're right. It's just like, it's what he does.
That's right.
It's what my dad does. I understand. Do you ever have to explain this at parties? You're like, one day exactly. Like, oh yes, is your dad still doing that? I bet you it comes up often, doesn't it? Yeah, probably. Yeah, and here we are. Her answer was, they're like, I need to meet this guy. I'm like, yes, you're right, and we do. It's totally bad. So let's just say you keep this current pace. Do you have any idea? Any forecast at all? When you're like, I should be done by fill in the blank, and now they're making fun of me for doing the Italian hands. This is a tough crowd.
Yeah. When I started, I mathed it out, and I thought I could do this in 8 years. That was before I realized I had to do the driving thing.
Oh yeah,
right? Because in the beginning, I was doing it 4 days a week, 5 days a week.
Corona times,
streets, right?
Yeah.
But now it's like, oh no, it's just 2 days a week. So now it's like, it's probably a 12-year thing, right?
Yeah.
So 2032-ish.
That's
what
like, before we know it, that's going to be here.
It's going to be here quick. Yeah, it's going to be quick. But But part of the thing too, I heard a phrase, I don't know where I saw it. You probably heard it before, but somebody said one time, "Don't be a run hole." Have you ever heard that?
No, believe it or not, no. but go on.
So basically that's like, don't let running be so much of your life that you mess with family and friends. Right.
Yeah, totally.
And so that's where it's like, okay, like for example, my 20-miler for the marathon happened to be a weekend where there was a family thing where we were doing it at Myrtle Beach.
Right on.
Right? Now, the streets guy is going, 20 miles? I could get a lot of streets in Charlotte for 20 miles, right?
Roger that, yeah.
But I'm not going to be a run hole. And so I did 20 miles at Myrtle Beach. And I got streets now in Myrtle Beach. But
there. Oh boy! All right, I'm gonna write that down.
Well, I got streets in a lot of cities, actually.
Oh yeah, look out! Boy!
But Charlotte is the focus.
All right.
Yeah.
It also sounds like you might have a problem, but we'll get into that in another show. I know we'll discuss that in a later show. I'll get another specialist in here.
Different kind of chair.
Exactly. Exactly. It's a different show altogether.
Yeah.
So, what have you learned about Charlotte in this? Let's just start with this. First of all, since you started this, real quick math: 250,000 people have moved here for starters.
Yes.
And which means that's 250,000 more people. I didn't make that up. I see her questioning me over there. 250,000 people have moved here in that time, and most of them drive.
Yep. That's right.
And they are adding new streets.
Yes.
So
that's one of the fundamentals is cities are organic, right? I never thought of a city as something that's like a life form of its own, and it kind of is, right? In fact, at one point I thought, I'm going to run perimeter and color in. I thought that was a strategy. And I started to run around the perimeter, and then I'm like, dummy, that's where they're building the houses, right? Maybe save that for the end.
Right. Yeah.
And so I've been kind of all over the place since then. But yes, I will run a neighborhood, and I'll look, and there'll be this place they've cleared, and I'm like, I'm going to come back here,
Yeah, I won't even recognize it.
And I've run streets that don't exist anymore already. Since 2020, there are streets that were on the map. I ran it.
That's true, too.
It's not there.
That's true,
right? Because they plowed over it, built something, whatever, right? And so it is changing at a crazy pace. Here's another sort of interesting thing. So I keep track of all of this.
Because you said nothing interesting
yet. Nothing interesting yet, yeah. Just wait, there's more.
You're like, hold on.
There's some guy, I don't know who, they made this program called City Strides.
Okay.
And City Strides, I don't know, this genius, and I'm just picturing a guy in his garage or something and wrote this program, right? So anyway, it'll sync with Garmin or Strava and whatever. It brings in your data and it maps it out for you.
Yeah, right on.
And it keeps track of this. So this is how I keep track. This is how I know how many streets there are and all that sort of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Well, it has a hard mode. I'm not running hard mode, okay? The difference between regular mode and hard mode, regular mode, you run 80% of a street and it's good enough.
You're like, okay, I've run on it. We're good.
100% is hard mode. And that, like, just to give you an idea, like, there's these, basically it's dots, right? You're keeping track by dots. And it's like, they're called nodes. And so you run past a dot, you get within certain number of yards or something, and it counts. It's like, okay, you close enough. You got past that dot.
Yeah.
Hard mode, you got to get closer. Well, things like medians and all this sort of stuff. I mentioned Independence. There's a couple of places where it's like I run up, I get to Independence, I'm on this cross street, and I don't know it till I get home, but there's a dot in the median.
You're like, help me out here, right? You're like, come on.
I ain't doing that.
No. Yeah.
Hard mode, you got to go do that, right? So there are guys out there that are, I don't know if there's anybody in Charlotte doing that, but they run their cities in hard mode, and they have to get literally 100% of every dot on the street. And so that's
brutal.
That's crazy. So when I'm talking my
It's degrees
streets-
of crazy is what you're talking about. You're splitting hairs,
correct,
man.
correct.
So you're splitting
Yes.
hairs like, well, that's just nuts. All right, Mark. All right. So, and before we got rolling here, you were talking to Jason and Kyle, who were with Flick Studios recording this for us.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Jason probably asked you a poignant question like, what have you seen? What's the craziest thing? I mean, what have you seen out there?
Yeah, there's some very interesting landscaping. Landscaping choices can be interesting. I've seen all sorts of things, little windmills in yards and things like that. But the craziest thing I've seen, there was a mannequin in a yard, very purposely placed in the landscaping. Mannequin was in a seated position. The top of the skull was gone, and it was turned into a planter.
I love that.
So, like, the hair is the plant, and crazy.
I love it.
Seen lots of crazy cars, and just wacky. Some houses are just very unusually designed. It's like you get there's the mullet house, right, where they added on so much to the back. You see this. What is this thing coming out of the back of the house?
I think I know the street you're talking about too.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's more than one, but
Yeah.
I have one in my mind. I'm like, I wonder about it all the time. I'm like, how the hell did they get permits for that?
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
who was asleep at the wheel of that day? I'm like, I don't know, man.
There's neighborhoods where there's the roosters and animals and whatnot out in their yards, and there was one this summer we ran. In fact, Rachel and I ran the neighborhood together. There was a house where they were growing corn in the front yard, and the corn was like up to the second story. It was crazy. You know, and I'm just like, where am I? Is this, am I still here? What is going on? I love those neighborhoods. That's fun. Like, I'm running around going, what is this place all about?
It's got to keep it interesting,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
I mean, it's got to keep it. And like you said, it gets you up and go like, I got to check some more of those boxes.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. And of the more than half of the streets, are you still building from the center out, or are you like, doing it in quadrants? How was this, as a visual learner, how was this all coming together?
Yeah. It was funny because at first I did like I said, I did inside 277, and then as I started to add on it, the funny thing was it kind of took on a heart shape for a while there. And so I had this little like purple heart in the center of the city, and people were commenting on
cool.
my
Yeah,
posts,
come on. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
But it became misshapen pretty quickly. And then I went south down like Park Road all the way down to Ballantyne. Then I started to swoop kind of counterclockwise. So I worked my way. Basically, I've gone all the way from 77 up around to Independence. So that sort of triangle, southern triangle I've done. And I've been working my way kind of, up towards University. That's kind of been what I've been doing.
That's going to be tough
lately.
up there. That area of the city is really not pedestrian friendly.
It is not, and certain areas can be insanely hilly as well.
Well, I think that comes with the territory of being around Charlotte. I don't think there's any neighborhood that's not hilly unless it's a high school track.
That's fair. That is fair.
It's like,
yes.
here we are.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh. So, what have you learned about you during this process? If we want to call it that. Project. How do you describe it? Process, project, undertaking, whatever.
Yeah. It's really a dumb hobby. It's of all the hobbies,
the daughter
to choose,
and the daughter's friend are nodding in agreement, Mark.
It's a dumb hobby. Well, persistence, right? Like, I mean, that's how I'm doing this, is just pure persistence and stubbornness. But I do love the variety. I like the motivation, right? Because your motivation changes over time. When I started to run, it was like I just need to get fit, period. And then it's like, okay, can I get faster for races and things like that?
Yeah.
And then, as I've gotten older and I've watched, like my parents age and pass on, and other parents, and other relatives, and I see them age and I see what that looks like.
Yeah.
The motivation lately over the past several years was like, I want to be as healthy as I can for as long as I can, right? So anything that keeps me moving, right?
Yeah.
That's just going to make that, I'm going to be able to get out of bed by myself longer. right?
And there's nothing wrong with that.
And so that motivation to keep going, right, is big, because how easy would it be when it's kind of, 30 degrees and it's raining outside to go, peace out today.
You're like, I've got to go see if there's another neighborhood with a mannequin half buried.
That's exactly.
You never know.
So having that motivation is good. And I find learning about the city to be interesting. It's just kind of fascinating to watch how it's grown and changed, and watch neighborhoods change, and think about the impact of that.
Yeah, it's like, and you really, that's one of the things we say about the Novant Health Charlotte Marathon is like sometimes, some of these streets, like around the Booty Loop or whatever, Myers Park and stuff, you've probably seen or run on or whatever, but some of these streets you may not have run on before.
Yeah.
And that's kind of an eye-opener. I didn't know that business, I didn't know a restaurant there, I didn't know a club was there. It's like, cool, I will check that out. It's really a cool way. Running or walking or riding your bike is really a cool way to see the city in which you live.
Yeah.
Right? And experience it at a different level. We were talking earlier about sustainability and all those kinds of things. And when you're out there on foot, you notice, right? It's like, I could not cross the street here, or I would feel safer if there were a signal or a crosswalk or whatever, or why is there so much trash in this, on this side of the street now?
Exactly.
All those things that you don't see when you're driving by.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And, I feel ridiculously fortunate because I can.
Yeah,
right?
Totally.
And I live in a nice place and all that, and some of these places are, not great, honestly, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like I look at it and go, okay, people are living all different walks of life, all different situations, right? And you sort of get an appreciation for that, right? Mm-hmm. That you might not get if you only see your own area. Yeah, right.
Back and forth to work, back and forth to the grocery store, back and forth to school, church, whatever the heck it is. Yeah, you don't see this stuff.
If there's anything that kind of like, people make their own decisions, developers do whatever they do, right? And like, no judgment on however we've gotten where we've gotten, but when I run these neighborhoods that are right next to each other and they're not connected to each other, it's like, is that a good choice? Right?
Yeah.
Is that a good way for us to exist as a society, that we very purposely containerize where people are, right? It's like, I don't love that. I don't love running into the dead end, and then I look and I see there's another dead end just over there.
Yeah, and you're like, those butt up to each other. It's like, what?
Why can't we, connect these areas? Why do we have to live so divided up? I don't think that's healthy.
I think that's $1 million question, friend.
Yeah.
Now, if somebody were interested at all in taking on something like this, would this be, she's like, I know what you're asking. It's like, would you say, yeah, man, this is a ton of fun? Or would you be like, ooh, don't know? Or would you be somewhere in the middle of, hey, man, you do you, as your family said?
Yeah, I mean, there's just seeing where you are, the City Strides thing makes it really easy. So if you just Google City Strides, go on there, you can link up your program. You can donate to it, but otherwise you can do free and just see what your map looks like. So if you're just curious, go do that. See what you've done, right? You might be surprised at how many things you've done, or not, because you do the same neighborhood all the time, right?
Oh, my God.
But no, I couldn't recommend it.
It's just like they're duly noted. They're laughing and nodding in agreement once again. Yes.
If you live in a small town, maybe
45-day kind of thing, you'd be good, right? Yeah. While you're doing your whole 30, you can do your whole 30 running all the streets in your small town.
Exactly.
Again, 14th largest city in the country. You might want to reconsider that.
Yeah.
Right. No, I appreciate that. At least you're honest. I appreciate that. Oh my gosh, that is great. Now, for those who are like, okay, I am ridiculously curious, but I'm not going to do this, where can they follow along on this journey and see your maps and see what the heck you're up to and stare in morbid curiosity?
Sure thing. Easiest way is Instagram. My handle's Runners with Cameras all together.
Yep.
It's plural because of my daughter. It was Runner with Camera, and she's like, I'm hopping on this, and we added the S to Runners with Camera, cameras. And the cameras thing started before I even started doing this thing, because I used to live in Richmond, Virginia, and I was running all around all the time there, and there were some really photogenic places I used to run, and I thought, why don't I snap some pictures while I'm on my runs? And so I started like snapping pictures and sharing that. And then when I moved down here in 2019, I just kind of kept on going. And so it's part of the journey is like I'll run around, I'll snap pictures of the funky stuff I see.
That's cool, man.
The ordinary stuff. Then I'll post a map update periodically and things like that. And if you search on Instagram, the hashtag every single street, you'll see all kinds of people all around the world running every street, posting their maps. Some of them walk it. Some hey, whatever, And there's a guy in Japan that was every single river, right? And I didn't even think of Japan as a lot of rivers, right? I don't know, never been there. But it was interesting. All these posts, he's like along a canal or a river or stuff like that. Isn't it crazy? It's like, who knew?
Who knew? Who knew? Who knew?
But I just find it fascinating.
Same. And you are a fascinating guy, man. This is an absolutely bonkers story that I am, and I don't mean that in any way other than wildly complimentary. I love it when somebody takes on something like, wow, like we said before we started, why didn't I think of that? That sounds that sounds cool. I love it.
Yeah.
And my wife and children do the same thing that yours are doing, rolling their eyes and going like, yeah, you do you, Dad.
Yeah.
You do you. And runners with cameras on the Instagram, you can follow along. Mark Feldpausch, thank you so much for sharing this story of the running around Charlotte. You literally are defining running around Charlotte. This is a fantastic story, man. Thanks for joining us on the show.
Absolutely. Loved it.
Appreciate it, man. We'll keep up with you for sure. We'll have to check in. We'll see where you are.
Absolutely. Appreciate it.
All right, man. Thanks.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks, y'all. Appreciate you listening. Another episode of the Running Around Charlotte podcast, and we've got more to come.
The Running Around Charlotte podcast is presented by the Novant Health Charlotte Marathon. Running Around Charlotte is produced in partnership with Well Done Media and Marketing. New episodes are available every week, anywhere you listen to podcasts.